Alright, checking this property. This road we're on is just completely ate up with predator tracks. Came in here about a week ago and absolutely just loaded the road up. I haven't done real well so far, but that's part of trapping. A lot of times you got to check a bunch of empty sets before you do very good. And it's just a matter of time before, well, here's a coyote bouncing. Actually, two coyotes bouncing. Right on. Property is loaded with sign. We haven't done real well until now. Looks like we picked up a double last night. That's what it's all about. Let's get up here and get out and take a look at these things. All right, guys, out here on the line, we're wrapping up the season in West Virginia here. Picked up a double. Man, this is awesome. These guys are probably, I don't know, what do you think, 10 feet apart?
Yeah, probably.
Less than that, maybe. So what we did is we're trapping this old 2-track. Of course, the road's real. I mean, you can see the road where people drive, but it's really wide. And then, of course, I don't know how good you can tell, but it's the same thing up here. But what happens is when it gets to this little curve here, it narrows down to nothing. So, regardless of where those dogs are, there or there, if they come through here, they've got to get together and come through the skinny part. So we come in here, we punched in a dirt hole here, and we put in a flat set over here, and sure enough, picked up 2 dogs last night. Word of advice: these locations, you need to always set 2 traps. Every time we see this, we load it up with 2. If you were ever only going to set 1, or maybe you only had 1 trap left, always set the inside of the curve. 99 out of 100 times when you look in the snow, in the mud, or anywhere you can see coyote tracks in a curve, or predator tracks for that matter, they always hug the inside. So if you're only going to make 1 set, always put it on the inside of that curve. But anyway, thought you guys might like to see it. It's a good way to end the season. We got a couple days left. It's always nice to pick up a dog. It's even better to pick up 2. We're going to dispatch these guys and put these sets back in, and we're going to head out. All right, guys, we're back. We dispatched these dogs. We're going to put this set back in. This set was kind of like a modified dirt hole. It's like a trench type step down set we run. I've dug some of it back out because, you know, the dogs run circles and pack it back in. A lot of times what we want to do is we put walkthroughs in remakes, but this one wasn't torn up bad enough really to do that. The ground's super hard, so we're going to put kind of the same set back in that we had, but just clean all the muck and stuff back out of your trap bed. And I like to knock a hole in the bottom of the bed for that chain to go in. Of course, freeze thaw, we put driveway heat in the bottom of the bed. Again, can't reiterate enough, trap has to be super solid, especially when coyote trapping. You want that trap in there solid and tight. Of course, I got that trap bedded out here in the front of the trench, and I'll show you. Sometimes, depending on what we do, we don't bed it so far away, but I'll show you why we did this time. Polyfill under your pan cover, whatever it is you use. Again, we run peat moss. Wax dirt works great too, but some of the places we trap, it's just too heavy to deal with. Again, always keep that pan uncovered so you can see where it's at and what you're doing. If you trap long enough, you're eventually going to get it on your finger, but If you can see where that pan is all the time, it'll help you. Again, find your pan, clean it off. Pack that in there good around that trap. There's my pan. Packed in good and tight. Put one more layer of salt on there. And then I'll leave that pan exposed and take my stuff, my debris from my bed, and sift that right back in on top of it. And then I know my pan is right here. So I'll take something like this rock, small rock, and I'll put it out here, kind of make it look like it's been there. Just to keep that dog here. And then I'll take the rest of my debris, I don't like to make like one big wall when trapping coyotes, but you throw enough stuff in there kind of deter him to stay on this side. So then on this set, the reason I have that trap so far back instead of like down in the trench is we'll take this big rock and pretty much cover that dirt hole. Now it does look like something's going underneath that rock and living there or hiding something there. And it gets that dog out here on top of my trap. The rock being out here pushes the dog to the trap, not being able to go all the way back down that dirt hole. So what we'll do, we'll rebait that hole with some back 40 by Trapping Time. And then I'm going to show you another thing about this rock here. Some double ugly by Southern Snares. What you can do now with that rock being there, since those coyotes, some of them are still breeding, I like to add gland. Just put it right on the lip. And then the rock protects it from the weather. And then a little Red Fox by Trap Shed Supply, Red Fox gland. It's stout. There we go. Same thing. I just put it kind of over beside where I put the coyote gland. And the last thing I like to do, it's getting really cold at night here. Not like frigid in some areas of the country, but we're down in the low teens. Crossbones by Night Owl. It's a good LDC. Don't take much. I like to get it out here on this rock out here in the front. Just to kind of get his attention. And the last thing I do is I like to use urine, especially during breeding season. Some guys do, some guys don't, and that's a complete set. And I'm telling you, next time a critter comes by here, I have a hard time believing that he's not going to come and check this thing out. So anyway, we'll get this other one punched in over here across from us, get it remade, and get out of here. All right, this is front view of that set we just put in. It kind of gives you an idea what it should look like. If you notice under that rock, there's a big hole there. It's great for eye appeal. It gives the idea that something, again, is either living in there or has something buried in there that's going to come back and get it later. I love sets with lots of eye appeal. I mean, sometimes you want sets that are very subtle. But this one right here, we definitely want predators to see it when they come by. But again, that rock gives that illusion of it being a big giant hole under there. Very inviting to a predator. I think if you give it a shot, it'll help you. Hey guys, we're gonna punch in this remake on this little female we just caught here. Real simple set we use. Driveway heat, ice melt in the bottom of the trap bed, whatever you prefer. Again, every single video we ever do, we reiterate how important it is to bed this trap solid when coyote trapping. And that thing is rock solid, not going anywhere. Peat moss and a trapper's cap seems to be our favorite. We've tried pan covers, polyfill, but we've settled on a trapper's cap and seem to do very well with it. We like peat moss because it's light. Needs to be really dry or else it'll freeze on you. Wax dirt's probably the best, but it's very heavy. Some of the places we trap just don't really feel like lugging it around. It's expensive and it's kind of time consuming to make. For us, it's just easier to buy peat moss in bulk and then put it in the attic and let it do its thing, and it's ready to go by trapping season. Again, it's extremely important that it's dry. I got guys messaging saying, hey, I tried peat moss and it froze on me. If your peat moss is dry and you throw it, it should disperse in the wind basically. And while it's not waterproof, I promise you it's water resistant. I mean, we've had days where it's raining, they come in, and down in there where the trap bed is, it is extremely dry. All right. A little more salt. We just use table salt. Pull that cap out, and then right there you can see the pan. Just kind of push your excess moss in around the pan. Again, I like to leave that pan where I can see it until we finish the setup, so I don't wind up setting that trap off. And this time of year, we've been using a lot of, got a little bit of this freeze-proof dirt. Only thing we use it for basically is just right over top of the set. And then a little bit around it to kind of blend in with everything else. I don't know if you could tell in the video, but the low point in that trap bed is right there on my pan. And I like to leave it that way with this set because we run these 3 rocks in here. So then when he comes in here to check this out, the lowest point inside these rocks is right there where our trap pan is. So then we just take our driver, I hit the hole from the original set, I can tell that. Make a hole there, hole there. Hole there. Alright, so some guys make this set, and there's no right or wrong way. Some guys make this set and they only put their lure on the face of the rock. I like to actually put my lure in the hole, because it keeps that dog in there messing with it and digging and pawing around, whereas if it's just on the face of this rock, a lot of times you'll show up and these rocks will be pulled over on your bed. They'll be pulled over down the hill. They'll be pulled out in the road where the dog just keeps rolling it. When we get done, we're going to put urine on there just as an attractant, but we're actually going to put the lure that we're running in those holes, because I want that dog's feet in here. I don't want that dog kicking the rock out in the road or dragging the rock out in the road and messing with it. So basically we've got a Curiosity lure by Trap Shed Supply. I put it on the end of this stick, and I just put the whole stick in the hole. Drop the whole thing down in there. Don't try to just, you know, smear it on the hole. Put it on that stick. Then run a little bit of Coyote gland in the other one. So we've got Curiosity, we've got gland, and then I'm going to run a food lure in here by Southern Snares. Because I don't know what's on his mind, but I want to give him every opportunity to get over here and like something. So then what we do is we take the urine, and I like to keep the urine down on the inside, down in here. Everything that Coyote is interested in, I want it on the inside of these rocks where he's got to be in here on this pan. And the last thing we'll do to finish this set is to take our whisk broom, and not a bunch, you don't want any heavy stuff. Like that. If you see a little rock like that, get it out, a little stick. You don't want anything in there that's going to bind that trap. And just kind of blend that set back in there. Alright, and that right there, my friends, is another dead coyote for the back of the truck. This set is extremely simple, and I believe if you'll use it, you'll have success. The one thing I will say, it's kind of like a modified walkthrough. You see, I see guys and gals setting these walkthroughs up. This road runs this way. All right, you want to make your walkthrough conducive to the way that those dogs are normally walking. I'm not saying if you turn it all this way and try to entice him to walk through there into that where there's just heavy brush, that it won't work. But if you make these sets in their natural travel paths, where they're already going that way, they're much more apt just to come right through it than they would be if you turn everything around trying to make them go that way into nothing. There's nothing over there. Anyway, put this set out on your line, use it, and it'll put fur in your truck. We'll catch you somewhere else down the line.